DEA revealed details of major bust involving one of the most dangerous and powerful cartels in Mexico.
More than 600 arrests were made. 133 of them were here in San Diego. Fox 5's Misha DeBona joins us live from the DEA headquarters.
At exactly 4 a.m. on October 20th, 2025, the GPS screens inside a federal command center lit up all at once. 250 icons began moving across a digital map of the United States, spreading through 48 states like veins carrying blood through a body. To anyone else watching traffic data, these were ordinary trucks, Southwest logistics trailers hauling fresh produce to supermarkets, distribution hubs, and grocery chains. They had spotless safety records, 15 years of on-time deliveries, clean inspections, the kind of company retailers trusted without thinking twice. To the hundreds of federal agents standing by in the darkness, those moving dots represented something else entirely. They were ghosts. For more than a decade, Southwest Logistics had been an American success story. Glass-walled headquarters in Texas, 500 drivers on payroll, roughly $300 million in annual revenue. They hauled lettuce, tomatoes, and refrigerated produce to some of the biggest names in retail. Their trucks blended perfectly into the endless river of commerce flowing across American highways every day. But behind that clean image, according to investigators, the company had been built for a different purpose. It wasn't just infiltrating the supply chain, it was the supply chain. At precisely 0400 hours, the order was given. Operation Highway Harvest went live. Across the country, DEA tactical teams and state highway patrol units moved at the same moment. On interstates, at way stations, on rural highways still dark before sunrise, trucks were pulled over simultaneously. Doors were sealed. Drivers were ordered out of their cabs. The trap closed nationwide. When agents first opened the trailers, they saw exactly what inspectors had seen for years. Crates of produce stacked floor to ceiling, lettuce, tomatoes, pallets shrink-wrapped and chilled. Everything looked legitimate. Everything smelled legitimate. That was the point. This time, the agents didn't stop at the vegetables. Hydraulic tools came out. Pry bars were driven into the trailer floors. Inspectors targeted a specific seam, one that had fooled regulators for nearly 2 years. Beneath the refrigerated cargo space, hidden inside a custom-engineered void, lay the real payload. Plastic-wrapped bundles, vacuum-sealed, color-coded. 52 tons of crystal methamphetamine. This wasn't drug trafficking in the traditional sense. It was industrial warfare disguised as logistics. The Sinaloa Cartel, investigators say, hadn't merely bribed drivers or hijacked routes. They had built their own trucking company from the ground up and let it operate in plain sight for 15 years. The genius of the operation was its split fleet design. Out of 250 trucks, 150 were completely legitimate. They hauled real produce, generated real income, and kept the company's Department of Transportation safety rating flawless. Those trucks were camouflage. The remaining 100 were priority units. They were modified in a secret maintenance garage accessible only to vetted mechanics. Each trailer was fitted with a $50,000 hydraulic trap, false floors capable of hiding up to 200 kilograms of narcotics per trip, designed to defeat X-ray scanners, designed to pass inspections, designed to move poison beneath food destined for American dinner tables. For 2 years, those priority units ran coast to coast, and the most chilling detail wasn't the drugs, it was the drivers. As trucks were seized and drivers detained, agents realized many of the men and women behind the wheel had no idea what they were carrying. They weren't acting. They weren't trained mules. They were legitimate truckers who believed they were hauling produce. They drove assigned routes, logged their hours, and went home to their families, completely unaware that millions of dollars worth of narcotics were hidden beneath their feet. They were disposable camouflage. The unraveling of the empire began 6 months earlier with a single traffic stop on Interstate 10 outside San Antonio. A Texas Highway Patrol officer pulled over a Southwest Logistics refrigerated truck for a routine inspection. The driver was calm. His logbook was perfect. The manifest listed 20 tons of tomatoes headed to the Midwest. Everything looked legal. But the K9 unit didn't care about paperwork. The dog walked the perimeter and sat near the rear axle, an alert for narcotics. Officers searched the trailer. They found nothing. No smell, no loose panels, no visible compartments. But dogs don't lie. A density scanner revealed the truth. The trailer floor was too dense, metal and organic material where insulation should have been. When officers pried up the boards, they uncovered a hidden compartment holding 100 kilograms of meth. The driver was arrested and interrogated. DEA agents watching through the glass noticed something that changed everything. He wasn't evasive. He was terrified, genuinely. He didn't know what he was carrying. That realization shifted the investigation overnight. If drivers didn't know, the concealment had to be structural. The trucks themselves were built around the drugs. Special Agent Maria Rodriguez of the DEA's Strategic Intelligence Division ordered a deep dive into the company's finances. On paper, the numbers didn't add up. Legitimate trucking operations brought in about $30 million a year. Operating costs ran close to $25 million. That left $5 million in profit. But bank records told a different story. Over $300 million had flowed through company accounts in just 2 years. The excess money moved through shell companies and offshore accounts, all tracing back to Sinaloa leadership. The cartel wasn't profiting from the company. It was subsidizing it, paying to keep the trucks rolling as cover. To prove it, investigators needed to get inside. An undercover agent applied for a job as a mechanic and was hired. For 3 months, he worked inside the maintenance facility. What he found wasn't a repair shop. It was a fabrication plant. Using a stolen keycard, he accessed restricted areas and photographed blueprints for hydraulic lifts and false floors. He documented mechanics welding secret compartments into trailer frames. These weren't amateurs. Each modification was engineered, tested, and logged. He also uncovered the 2-tier driver system. Most drivers were innocent. But priority drivers, the ones who knew, were paid $10,000 cash bonuses per trip and used encrypted apps to coordinate with cartel handlers. With evidence in hand, prosecutors secured sealed RICO indictments for 273 individuals. They didn't want to stop one truck. They wanted to kill the company. At 400 hours on October 20th, while trucks were being seized nationwide, FBI SWAT teams breached the glass-walled corporate headquarters in Texas. It looked like a tech startup. Manicured lawns, modern offices, motivational posters. Inside, the illusion shattered. The CEO was found at his desk, frantically trying to delete files from a secure server. He looked up, expecting to call his lawyer. Instead, he found himself staring down a federal rifle. "Step away from the computer," the agent ordered. "It's over." Cyber forensic teams secured the laptop seconds before encryption keys could be wiped. The shadow ledger sealed the case. It showed that while legitimate operations earned $30 million, the so-called Special Projects Division, drug trafficking, covered the company's massive operating costs. The executives didn't just know about the drugs, they budgeted for them. Simultaneously, DEA teams stormed the priority garage. Welders were caught mid-modification, sparks still flying. They dropped their tools without running. They knew exactly what they were building. By 6 a.m., the scale was undeniable. 273 arrests, 100 modified trucks seized, and 52 tons of methamphetamine removed from circulation. Street value exceeding $2 billion. But as drivers were processed, the human cost became clear. Nearly 500 drivers were detained. About 150 were ultimately cleared. Innocent truckers whose careers were nearly destroyed. In a rare move, the Department of Justice issued certificates of innocence and helped reinstate licenses. For the priority drivers who knowingly took the cash bonuses, there was no mercy. The trials concluded in December 2025. The jury deliberated less than 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. The judge delivered what legal experts called the corporate death penalty. Life sentences without parole for the CEO, CFO, and COO. Southwest Logistics was dissolved. Trucks, headquarters, accounts, everything seized. Operation Highway Harvest sent a message far beyond one cartel. The war on drugs is no longer just about backpacks in the desert. It's about auditing infrastructure, about realizing that the truck in the next lane might be a weapon disguised as a grocery delivery. The highways are open again. The lettuce is still being delivered. But federal eyes are watching the asphalt more closely than ever. And the final question lingers. How many other perfect companies are hiding crimes beneath their floors, waiting for someone to look down instead of straight ahead?